From Neural Newscast, this is Prime Cyber Insights, intelligence for defenders, leaders, and decision-makers.
Welcome to Prime Cyber Insights. Today is March 26th, 2026, and we are tracking a significant development in the mobile threat landscape. Kaspersky has published a deep dive into Coruna, an updated version of the exploit framework used in the Operation Triangulation campaign.
This isn't a simple patchwork tool, Aaron. Researchers found that Coruna is a unified modular framework targeting iOS, with code designed specifically to identify the latest Apple hardware, like A17 and M3 chips. Joining us to discuss this is Chad Thompson, a director of AI and security with a systems-level perspective on automation and enterprise risk. Chad, it is good to have you.
Chad, looking at this modular design in Coruna, how should security leaders interpret this trend of unified exploit frameworks, replacing the one-off exploits we have seen in the past?
The shift to a unified framework like Coruna marks a significant increase in the maturity of the exploit development lifecycle. By building a modular core, threat actors can swap out specific kernel exploits, such as those for CVE 2023-32434, while keeping their delivery and orchestration logic intact. From a systems perspective, this extends the shelf life of their development effort, even as individual vulnerabilities are patched. It forces us to look beyond individual fixes toward monitoring the systemic behaviors of post-exploitation tools.
Chad, Kaspersky noted that while Coruna was originally built for espionage, it is now being leveraged by a broader set of cybercriminals. Does this lower the barrier to entry for high-end mobile APT attacks?
It absolutely does. When these frameworks leak or are traded between groups, the sophistication once reserved for Tier 1 surveillance units becomes accessible to financially motivated actors. For the enterprise, this shifts the risk profile. We can no longer assume advanced kernel exploits are targeting only high-value individuals. They are now part of the standard toolkit for any group with the capital to acquire the framework.
Given that Coruna specifically targets browser fingerprints and executes remote code execution based on versioning, what is the most critical control for resilience in this environment?
It comes down to reducing the attack surface through rapid updates and rigorous device isolation. Coruna's ability to check for iOS 17.2 and the latest M3 chips shows they are keeping pace with Apple's hardware cycle. Enterprises must ensure MDM policies are aggressive regarding OS updates, as these frameworks rely heavily on previously patched vulnerabilities that remain exposed on unmanaged or legacy devices.
Thanks, Chad. That systems-level view is essential. Turning to our next story, Aaron, we have a significant breach update involving Crunchyroll.
TechCrunch reports that Crunchyroll has confirmed a data breach affecting 8 million customer support tickets. The point of entry was not Crunchyroll itself, but an Okta compromise at Telus Digital, a third-party vendor. The attacker reportedly exfiltrated 6.8 million unique email addresses from Crunchyroll's Zendesk instance.
The hacker allegedly demanded a $5 million ransom, which Crunchyroll has declined to pay. This is a stark reminder that security is only as strong as the most privileged third-party agent. On a more positive note, Aaron, researcher Khalid Mohammed recently disclosed a flaw in Microsoft Authenticator.
CVE 2026-26123. It allowed a malicious app on a device to intercept deep links, potentially bypassing two-factor authentication during the sign-in flow. Microsoft patched this on March 10th, and Mohammed's responsible disclosure ensured that users were protected before it could be weaponized in the wild.
These incidents underscore the need for continuous validation of mobile security and supply chain integrity. For more in-depth analysis, visit pci.neuralnewscast.com. Neural Newscast is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. View our AI transparency policy at neuralnewscast.com. This briefing is for informational purposes only. Stay secure.
This has been Prime Cyber Insights on Neural Newscast. Intelligence for defenders, leaders, and decision makers.